Ũmũthĩ mbunge ya Senate ĩrakana mwaki, masenators othe manyitanĩte na mũgambo ũmwe wa Justice for Ojwang. Gũtirĩ wa UDA, ODM kana DCP. Othe ũmũthĩ mararia lugha ĩmwe na mission yao marenda Langat ambe eyeherie ofici nĩguo ũthuthuria wĩkwo. Nao angĩ marenda Murkomen ambe ajiuzuru tondũ marauga nĩ ta atarahotana na ministry ĩyo ya Interior. Mũnene wa borithi, mũnene wa DCI na CS Murkomen othe me Senate magicokia ciũria.
And I'll give two examples of why I am of the opinion that the Inspector General wants to just cover his deputy. He says that, Mr. Speaker, he says that the complainant lodged a complaint on the 4th of June. There are 4 officers that he has said who were supposed to go, or rather, who were to take the statement from the Inspector General of Police. May I take you to the 5th of June when he has said 2 letters were made. One, they first received the response from the EACC on the 5th of June. They wrote another letter to the CAK on the 5th of June. On the same day, they received a letter from the CAK. Once they were satisfied that there is a case to answer, the officers went to arrest Arbat. Now, Mr. Speaker, the officers arrived in Kisii at 12:55. Walking back, it is 307 kilometers from Nairobi to Kisii. If indeed they left Nairobi after they were satisfied, unless these letters were being done before government opens offices, I know that government opens offices at 8 in the morning. If they did a letter, for example, to the CAK at 8, and they got a response at maybe 8:15, if the government is so swift, then it means that they drove to Kisii in less than 3 hours. This, Mr. Speaker, cannot have happened unless there is further evidence that of how. No, we have been told that they didn't fly. We have been told that
Senator
they drove
Methu,
to Kisii.
don't engage your colleagues, just proceed.
Oh yeah, they drove all the way to Kisii. And they go to Kisii from what the Inspector General of Police has told us at 12:55 hours. Honorable Speaker, that already raises eyebrows that this evidence has been reconstructed. This is not original evidence. This is not a true record of what happened to Ojwang. And I am very sad that the Inspector General of Police, in my opinion, I'm giving my opinion, a parent who is here.
Just ask your question.
Yeah, so that is my question. My second question. And Honorable Speaker, I don't know why colleagues have a problem.
Order, honorable senators.
Just
One, let me just direct you. I will not take any points of order. We have just suspended the sitting. We are here not strictly enforcing the standing orders. Allow the honorable senators, you've made a basis for your question, proceed to ask the question.
You know, Mr. Speaker, we are here because we want to know what happened to Albert Ojwang. If any information can help us know what happened to Albert Ojwang, then it will help us move. Maybe finally, may I know from the Inspector General of Police, once it was established in the morning that Albert was unconscious and he was being rushed to hospital, the choice of Bahati Hospital instead of Kenyatta National Hospital, just a question to maybe to help in the investigation, because I've seen from Central Police Station to Kenyatta National Hospital via Hospital Road is 5.1 kilometers. To Bahati is 5.8 kilometers via Valley Road. Mr. Speaker, I would have imagined that there are better facilities and there are better facilities at Kenyatta National Hospital, and being a hospital that is nearer the Central Police Station, Honorable Speaker, I would have expected that is where Albert would have been taken. Thank you.
Senator Soti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've listened to the IG very keenly, but I would like to know what brief, the specific brief that led to the suspension of the officers at Central Police Station.
Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, my first one is to CS Murkomen. Mr. Speaker, patriots in this country fought against detention without trial, and CS Murkomen, I assure you, they are going to fight against extrajudicial killings, especially within police custody. The question is this, CS. The Deputy Inspector of Police, Mr. Eliud Langat, went against the provisions of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, went against the provisions of the National Police Act, specifically Section 17, and in general, the Leadership and Integrity Act. You, as a member of the National Security Council, where you sit together with the IG, both of you are present here. Why have you found it difficult to advise the necessary authorities that Eliud Langat be dismissed from service? My next question, Mr. Speaker, is to CS, not CS, to the IG Kanja. IG Kanja, Kenyans who know you, we have a lot of respect for you because you are the officer, unknown to some people, who defeated the terrorists at Dusit 2 Hotel. We know you as a serious police officer. We've been wondering why these killings under you, and now that Langat is the person we have found to be who he is, we can now very well see who has been undermining you. I therefore want to appeal to you. Tell this country, a spokesman by the name of Mushiri Nyaga, the police spokesman, he misrepresented material facts. He attempted to conceal this killing. He went and interfered with the circumstances of the crime by stating that Omondi Ojwang hit his head on the wall. IG Kanja, why have you not arrested him? He has information which in his statement under arrest will help to point fingers at who gave him this deliberate statement so as to do what I have said above. Finally, Mr. Speaker, back to Kanja and or Amin. IPOA has now told us the names of the officers from DCI who went to Migori to go and arrest Kajwang. Can you tell the country how it came to pass that Kajwang was moved all the way, Ojwang, that Ojwang was moved all the way, hundreds of kilometers, contrary to the provisions of normal procedure that would have required that it be taken to the nearest police station in the jurisdiction where he committed, quote unquote, the said crime, and that if he needed to be moved, a magistrate needed to give permission for him to be moved all the way to Nairobi. Could you, IG, tell us why you have found it difficult to arrest these officers? And their names are a little bit disturbing. You tell us why you have not arrested them? Because they're the only ones who were with this young man from the last time the parents saw him well and alive up to the time they came to Nairobi for the country to be told that.
Wazi kabisa ni kwa sababu gani kulikuwa kuna lazima ya kwamba huyu mtu aliyeshikwa kule Homa Bay, huyu Kajwang, huyu Ojwang, sorry my brother Kajwang, huyu Ojwang aliyeshikwa kule kwa Homa Bay kuchukua safari ya masaa mengi kama hayo mpaka Nairobi, kulikuwa na sababu gani hapo katikati ya kwamba ni lazima aje Nairobi? Swala la kwanza. La pili, nataka kujua ni kwa sababu gani alipokuwa amefika Nairobi kulikuwa na wale mapolisi waliotangulia kuingia ndani ya cell na kuharibu zile CCTV ziko pale ndani, ili chochote kitakachofanyika pale ndani, atakayeingia na atakayetoka hataweza kuonekana katika ile kamera. Ni nani waliofanya kitendo kama hicho ambacho kiliweza kupoteza ile CCTV isiweze kuona ni nani aliyeingia ndani ya ile cell ambayo Ojwang alikuwa hapo? Na hatimaye mwisho, ile CCTV ambayo ingetusaidia wale watu waliingia pale ndani, wewe mwenyewe ukiwa kipaumbele ukisema ya kwamba pengine huyu alijigonga mwenyewe akafa. Nataka kukuambia ukweli wa mambo ni kwamba hakuna binadamu ambaye yuko ndani ya cell anaweza kujigonga mwenyewe mpaka akajiua unless alikuwa na akili punguani. Kwa hiyo nataka kujua wale walioingia, wale mapolisi walioingia pale ndani na wakamuua Ojwang ni kina nani? Tunataka kujua. Asante Bwana Speaker.
The majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have followed the presentation from IPOA, who are the constitutionally charged body with investigating such incidents. However, I found their answer to be a bit too vague, Mr. Speaker, because of no specific reference to certain critical things that the country wished to know at this particular time. It will help this country, Mr. Speaker, to appreciate if, in the course of their investigation, they have been able to establish, because you've seen the list of the interdicted officers, the OCS, the officers who are on duty, Mr. Speaker, and now this morning, IPOA has just listed the names of the officers who went all the way to Homa Bay to pick Mr. Albert Ojwang. Mr. Speaker, from IPOA's records and the investigation, wouldn't it have been beneficial if the representative, the vice chair from IPOA, would have let this House and the country know whether, in accordance to the investigation, by the time Albert Ojwang arrived at Central Police Station, what was his state, Mr. Speaker? Second and most importantly, where are these officers, both the OCSs, Mr. Speaker, not both actually, the DCI officers that picked him and the officers who interacted with Albert Ojwang in the course? Have they recorded their statements, Mr. Speaker? And by when do we expect that we will see, Mr. Speaker, the conclusion of this investigation, the closure of the file, forwarding to DPP for people to be charged, Mr. Speaker? If I could get those three specific items, Mr. Speaker, then I will appreciate and know that for sure something is being done to give justice to the family of this deceased young man. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, for the record, the name Ojwang in Luo means abandoned, neglected, and raised in hardship. And clearly, you can see it has come to be true in the case of Albert that we are talking about today. Mr. Speaker, can the Inspector General of Police withdraw and apologize in this House for the assertions that he made through the formal communication by the National Police Service that Ojwang killed himself? Mr. Speaker, in my culture, suicide brings stigma. And the IG of police has brought untold suffering, stigma to the family of Ojwang by purporting that this gentleman killed himself when the autopsy clearly reveals that he was killed in the hands of police. Can you direct the IG to apologize and withdraw on the floor of this House on the strength of the autopsy report? Mr. Speaker, secondly, there are many good officers in the National Police Service. We must agree. All the members of Senate here have 1 or 2 police officers assigned to them. And I think generally they are people of good conduct. But there are few bad apples, Mr. Speaker, that need to be fumigated. And that is where the National Police Service comes in, and the CS for Interior. Has a CS done any policy directives in writing pursuant to Article 245 to deal with those bad elements? Mr. Speaker, further, if you pursue the proximate cause theory, it was a complaint by DIG Langat that led to the arrest of this young man in Lida, in Mawego, and that led to his death. Mr. Speaker, why is DIG Langat still in office when it is his complaint that triggered the chain of actions and reactions that led to the death of this young man? Can the Inspector General tell us why? Can the CS tell us why? Because you cannot be in office still having authority and power, and you are the person who is being investigated. Mr. Speaker, I said there are many good police officers. The stepping aside of DIG Langat is not going to lead to the collapse of the police force. And Mr. Speaker, what Kenyans want to see is DIG Langat not just stepping aside, but he should also go to a police station and record a statement and have his fingerprints taken, because there is no way you are going to carry out an investigation without addressing the proximate cause of the chain of events that led to the death of this young man. Mr. Speaker, we have been told that there are other suspects that were mentioned. There was Kevin, who was taken to Kenyanya and ultimately, I think, ended up in Kamukunji. What is the status? Are they still alive? Kevin, Dorcas, Peter, Douglas, Albert is dead. What about the other 4 that were adversely mentioned? Can the IG assure this House? And in fact, Mr. Speaker, we might need to issue habeas corpus so that they can be produced and we confirm that they're alive, because one of the co-accused is right now lying at the city mortuary. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the CS has pointed us to Article 245. And Mr. Speaker, the CS is an illustrious former member of this House. I have a lot of personal respect for him. We are friends, we are age mates, and I believe we operate at the same intellectual bandwidth. But I fail to recognize when he becomes the cabinet secretary, Mr. Speaker. Because the things he spoke for, the things he stood for while in this House continue to happen unabated under his watch. He was very articulate and eloquent when talking about the killings in Elgeyo Marakwet, in Baringo. They are still happening today. He was very articulate one time when the police came to the presence of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. He moved this House to suspend its sittings and the Speaker ordered the police to exit the presence of Parliament. That is a gentleman who's today the Cabinet Secretary. When our colleagues, Senator Malala, Senator Lelegwe, Senator Langat, were arrested on the eve of an important debate, the then Senator Murkomen was passionate, articulate, eloquent, citing the relevant provisions of the Constitution, and moved this House to adjourn until the rights of our senators were observed. Could the CS tell us? I know he might not tell us what happens when you become a cabinet secretary, because obviously there seems to be a metamorphosis from positive to negative. But can he tell us whether he has issued any directions in writing, as he had referred to Article 245? And he tables them before this House and before the relevant court.
Speaker, sir, as we discuss the death of Albert Ojwang and the circumstances that led to his death, and I would like the Senator for Homa Bay, Senator Kajwang, and Senator Beatrice Ogola to try and understand where I'm coming from. In no way am I trying to disrespect this very sitting today here. But I would like to see some level of fairness in this country. I would like to see that the life of any Kenyan, anywhere, is important to all of us. Mr. Speaker, sir, last week, the Senator of Turkana stood on the floor of this House with a statement inquiring about the death of 40 fishermen who were killed and left in the lake, and 4 other individuals who were detained and then killed thereafter. And not a single senator requested for a special sitting for those 44 individuals. Not a single senator. Not this country begged for questions about the death of those individuals. Not the main media, not even on the social media. So it begs the question, are there some Kenyans who are more equal than others? Are we to believe that we are brothers and sisters or cousins in that matter? Or maybe there are cousins who are more equal than others? Or is a death of a young man such as Albert Ojwang an opportunity for political expediency? Whether on the main media or the social media? And you know, Mr. Speaker, people will label me whatever they want to label me. They would say I am part of the system, that I am a brother to so-and-so. But Mr. Speaker, I was a patriot of this country before I came to the Senate. I was a patriot before any of my relatives living is serving in any part of this government. I was a patriot, and I have personally fought for this country. I have personally put my life on the line for this country. So whether I'm related to anybody, it is not the issue here. The issue is, as a country, can we be so sincere to each other and agree that we are brothers and sisters? Or tell us of certain regions that there are people who are more brothers than we are. And Mr. Speaker, when I sit here and I listen to senior citizens, senior senators speak on the floor of the House, and then remind this country of the Arab Spring, I have tremendous respect for Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale. I have tremendous respect for him. He's a leader in this House. I have tremendous respect for Senator Wambua. But they both mentioned the Arab Spring. Senator Wambua yesterday, today Senator Boni Khalwale, reminding us as a country of the Arab Spring, reminding the youth of this country about the Arab Spring. What happened subsequently after the Arab Spring? Any of those countries, mention them. Have they benefited in any way? Constantly reminding the youth of this country that you have an option, and that option is the Arab Spring. Look at the Arab Spring. Take an example from them and superimpose it on this country. Mr. Speaker, sir, that is very unfortunate. We shouldn't be going that way. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must remember that any seeds that we sow today, we will reap the results not far too long. If we want to sow the seeds of disconnect, of inequality, of some regions being better than others, it will be very unfortunate, and we will continue in that path. I would want to beg this House. I have a case of 6 youths in Garissa, 6 youths between the age of 18 to 21 who were brutally murdered on the road in Garissa, brutally murdered execution style, told to bend down, kneel down, and shot in the head, in the back of the head. Until today, it's been 2 years. Until today, we don't know if it's whether it is a security apparatus who killed them, or it was a criminal organization that killed them. We don't know. We don't know. But we've not had, not the human rights organization, not the civil society, not the media houses, have ever decided to pursue justice for those 6 people. If this continues, some of us, or some senators here, will feel disconnected from the rest of the country. And we will not feel for the pain of some people, which will turn us to less of a human. We all believe that a life, any life, is important. And I want to beg this House, if this is the precedence we are setting, let us keep it to this. Let's not use this as a political opportunity to get mileage for whatever matter. The next death of any Kenyan, let's have a special sitting and discuss the circumstances to the death of that Kenyan. Mr. Speaker, sir, going to my question, I would like to ask the member of IPOA, representing IPOA today here. She had mentioned the issue of CCTV, and I know many senators have asked a question about the CCTV. And I was a bit curious to know how many of our police stations have CCTV, and how many of those cameras are placed within the cells of those police stations. And if in that particular case, in the case of Albert Ojwang, were those CCTVs working even before IPOA decided that they were interfered with? And my next question is to the IG. IG had stated here that when they moved the deceased Albert Ojwang from the cell to Magathi police station, he was declared dead upon arrival. Was he alive at the time he was moved from the station? That is something we missed in his submission. My final question to the IG, I'm just wondering out loud, why do the police arrest people in certain areas and transport them to Nairobi for investigation? Does it mean that with the devolved system that we have now, the DCI or the police, the person has been arrested? Could you elaborate on this issue as well? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Methu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be very fast in my questions. Mr. Speaker, I would like to first remind both the CS and the IG that the reason why the Kenya Police Service is Kenya Police Service today and not Kenya Police Force, why that transformation happened, Mr. Speaker, was because there was need to establish a friendliness between members of the police service and the members of the public. And what we are seeing here, Mr. Speaker, is that members of the public now increasingly will find the police very hostile, and they may not even be able to collect information from members of the public. Why I say this, Mr. Speaker, is because the speed at which this particular complaint against Albert Ojwang was executed, the investigation, a mere 3 days and every investigation had been done and arrests made. Mr. Speaker, this then shows that the police and those serving in this service have become very special people. And Mr. Speaker, when we are talking of, somebody who, Ojwang, whose only crime was making allegations on social media, that is X, And investigations were carried out in that type of speed, while we have Ojwang who is now lying dead, and the police have actually no substantive results of this investigation. They have not been able to indicate who committed this particular crime. Mr. Speaker, we must ask ourselves very many questions. Now, Mr. Speaker, the IG should tell us why Ojwang was held in a cell alone. Because the problem that we have here of identifying who committed this crime, we have it because there is no particular eyewitness to what was happening what happened in that particular cell if this murder happened in the cells. And so, Mr. Speaker, the IG must tell us why Ojwang was held all alone in a cell. Because had he been held with other cellmates, then of course we would be able to get information from the other cellmates that they would have been with. My question to the CS is, Honorable Murkomen, does DIG Langat have to be in office? Would the whole police service crumble just because DIG Langat steps aside? We have seen even more senior people stepping aside to allow for investigations. And the CS Murkomen should tell us why DIG Langat has to be in office. Unless DIG Langat is so important that everything else would come to a standstill if he steps aside. DIG Langat must step aside so that Kenyans can have faith in the investigations that will be done by IPOA and any other body, Mr. Speaker. Now, the IG has said a very interesting thing, Mr. Speaker. You know, we have also been guests of the state. I have never ever seen any examination carried out on somebody arrested to establish their physical or mental wellness. Unless, so the IG kindly tell us, since when did the police start assessing the mental well-being and physical well-being of people before admitting them to the cells? Because this has never ever happened. And so the IG is economical with the truth. Let him tell us, tell this House when this started happening. Mr. Speaker, the crime being perpetrated, we have crime being perpetrated right in a police station. And that is interference with CCTV cameras. So if the police are the people that are supposed to investigate crime and even arrest criminals, and there are criminals within, then IG must tell us where our safety then lies. CS Murkomen. You know, Senator Wambua said you can and you should do better. And I agree totally with him that you say you have no eyes, CS, while we have seen you recently having very sharp eyes on political comments made by people, and you have been actually calling for the arrest of people making political statements that are not suitable to you. How can you have no eyes when a young man has lost his life in the hands of the police? So I think we need to see a more serious CS, Mr. Speaker. The IG must tell DIG Langat, if you do not have a skin thick enough to be able to tolerate public criticism, then you have no business being in public service. Because we cannot believe that we are here now debating about the death of a young man just because he made comments on social media. And in any case, because CS Murkomen is a lawyer, he should be able to tell us, because some of us believe that this was a civil matter and not a criminal matter. Why was Ojwang arrested and transferred again all the way to Nairobi? And the DCI should tell us why, whether there is a DCI office in Homa Bay, because that is where all these investigations should have happened. If he doesn't tell us, then we can conclude that DIG Langat had then instructed, but that he wanted to see Ojwang before anything else. Otherwise, this crime should have been investigated in Homa Bay. There is a DCI office in Homa Bay.
Methu, there is an intervention from the majority leader.
Okay.
You will still proceed.
Speaker,
Just take a seat.
Mr. Speaker, it is now 12:57, and I'm worried because we are running out of time before we can hear any single response from the parties that are before us. Will it be in order?
Senator Fernandi, this is not a point of order. It is a point of intervention. I was very clear. Proceed. Just proceed, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, whatever I will say will benefit many people, including Senator Cherargei. So I don't know why, Mr. Speaker, because I want to request, Mr. Speaker, that because there are many of our colleagues that have not had an opportunity to speak on such an important matter, that we transact this business in the afternoon as well, with your permission. I know there is a technicality, Mr. Speaker. I know that there is a technicality because the motion lapsed at some point. But if you so permit, Mr. Speaker, we could still come back with a motion in the afternoon at 2:30 so that we revert back and we listen to the statements. That's my humble pleading to you, Mr. Speaker, because you are out of time.
Now, honorable senators, it is now 1 minute to 1 p.m., which is the time for the House to adjourn. Looking at the business that still lies ahead of us, we certainly cannot conclude in less than a minute. I will therefore be amenable to allow this debate to proceed at 2:30. And therefore, at this juncture, honorable senators, we shall resume normal sitting of the Senate. We proceed to adjourn and then come back at 2:30.